I just moved a few months ago, so of course I'm really excited about creating and having a beautiful home. But I'm also a mother and a business owner, which leaves very little time for everything else. And that little time that's left is split between keeping my house clean and tidy, of course, but also exercising and learning German and maintaining my social relationships and just a lot of other things. When I ask myself, how do I want to spend my time? It's not cleaning. So I've learned some principles for designing our home in a way that is default tidy. It does not take much effort for us to keep our home clutter-free. And I'm going to share them with you in this video as a list of tips. Hi, I'm Kate. I make videos about productivity and organization. Since moving from Italy to Switzerland 6 months ago, I've been making a lot of home organization videos. But let's jump in. I've got 6 of these tips for you today, but I have a lot more. So if you like this video, please do give a like or comment. I will take that as a sign to make a follow-up. All right, my first tip is to use closed storage. Your stuff can't go away if it doesn't have a home. And I say closed storage because only closed storage is for actually storing your stuff. Open storage is for displaying your proudest belongings like works of art. Younger me was so good at fitting 10 pounds into a 5-pound bag and proud of it. I would put shelves everywhere I could. And it was actually a single moment that changed me. I was looking at an apartment to buy in Rome, where I lived for the past 13 years. And we were touring the apartment, it currently had a renter, and that renter had put bookcases on every single wall and filled them to the ceiling. And it was so hideous. Even though everything was away, it still looked cluttered and messy, and I hated it. I'd been in the middle of a built-in shelving project in my own home where I lived at the time, and I literally scrapped the project that day, terrified of making my own home look and feel like that one. So have enough storage for all your stuff, but it should be mostly closed storage. All right, number 2 is don't be a bottleneck. Don't be the only person in your home who knows where everything goes. I'm bad at this. I'm always reorganizing and looking to improve systems. So of course, the other people who live here have to ask me about the new systems. To minimize this, one thing I do is I label like crazy. And this also helps me. Sometimes the very next day after I come up with a new system, new categories, I don't remember them. So the labels also help me. So for example, I have labels inside of our cabinets. Bowls, mugs, plates, coffee. A complete stranger could unload our dishwasher and put away correctly 95% of it. Another way to make sure you're not the inventory keeper of every single possession in your house is when someone asks you where something is, don't go get it, describe where it is. Like it's in the entry closet in the box labeled winterwear. And I'm a bit of a not softy here because if they can't find it, I will say, I really think it's in there, can you check again before I come to the rescue? All right, moving on to tip number 3 is to be a little minimalistic. What do you want more? That kitchen gadget or more space in your kitchen? We are paying to store every single thing in our homes, even the clothes in your closet. You pay a little more to have that size closet opposed to a smaller one. Every bookcase you add costs you a little bit of floor space. We are essentially paying a monthly storage fee for every single possession we own. So it's easy to look at some possession that you're not sure if you should keep and think, what if I need this someday? I don't want to have to buy it again. But what you need to also ask yourself is, I don't know if I'm going to use this in the next year. Can I afford to store it for that amount of time? It's just easier to maintain a home full of less things than a home full of more things. It's not a matter of have this thing versus not have this thing. It's a matter of have this thing versus have more space. If you want that clean, open magazine home and you don't have unlimited money to keep buying bigger houses, then you need to change that mindset. Okay, moving on to tip number 4. If you are lucky enough to have a storage unit or a basement or a garage, you need to have that space organized enough that you can actually use it. If your basement is a black hole that nothing ever comes out of, why even have it? If you can't find the things that you store down there when you need them, you're not going to want to store the things that you use occasionally down there. Ours isn't pretty. We have mismatched shelves and mismatched bins and boxes, but I can find anything I need down there in a second. We keep everything remotely seasonal down there, decor, but also clothing and sports stuff. We also have sentimental stuff that I'm not ready to say goodbye to. Any extra stuff, like we bought a big case of flour and I just keep 2 bags of here at a time and the rest are down there. And party hosting stuff and suitcases and extra beer and wine. There's some decor that I'm not ready to hang up yet, but I will in the next year either use it or get rid of it. And my kids' collection of bikes, scooters, rollerblades, and skateboards. That's the majority of everything that's down there in our cellar. And there are rough zones like clothing and sports and kitchen and food stuff. So I can go to the right area, read a couple labels, and have what I'm looking for in a second. Or put things in really easily. Like a couple days ago, I went to put on a pair of jeans and they were really low rise, like really low rise. They must have been hiding in the bottom of my jeans pile for years and ended up on top when I did my closet reorg a few weeks ago. I vlogged that, I can link to the video. And they fit, they're the right size, which must be how they didn't get filtered out earlier. But I'm not going to be wearing them. So I happen to keep my skinny clothes with my off-season clothes. So next time I went down to the counter, I brought the jeans and just slipped them right into that box. And now they are kind of in clothing purgatory waiting a retrial, which will happen when I change seasons again. Okay, tip number 5. Everything is easy to clean. The vacuum can fit under the beds and under the couch, and it's cordless, so it's not a big deal to take out. And the counters only have items on them that are used daily. So for us, that is the coffee machine, the drying rack, the bread cutting board, and the fruit bowl. That's it. After all, it's not annoying to wipe down the counters. It's annoying to clear the counters so you can wipe them down. My boyfriend vetoed my big KitchenAid stand mixer living on the counters. And it was actually the right call because as much as I use it, it's not daily. And it's really not that hard to put it under the counter, even a big heavy thing like that. And that's at the bar. It's not things that are used frequently, it's things that are used daily. He bought a kitchen scale, thought that was counter-worthy, but I put it right under into the cabinets. Anytime anyone tries to put something on the counters, I tell them, I need this as a workspace that has to go somewhere else. Now, we do have a side table that could be a landing place for new things that come in the house that don't have a home yet, but they gotta move. They gotta just be there for a short amount of time. Because if things start to pile up there, then dealing with it becomes a project. And the house is not default tidy anymore. Okay, for my last tip, and also as a nice conclusion to this video, I want you to look at the places in your house that are default messy and analyze them. Why did they get like that? And what could fix it? For example, maybe you have a pile of clothes in your bedroom that you've worn for a short period of time, but they're not ready to be washed and they're also not clean enough to put away. Could you maybe dedicate part of your closet to storing these kind of half-dirty things on hangers? For me, I'm always switching bags. I like to be the mom who's thought of everything and has everything with her, but I also like to go out with the smallest bag possible. So I have a sort of repack station over my office, which is the room closest to the front door, and then I can leave the entryway storage to the kids and my boyfriend. Or like I talked about earlier with kitchen counters and tables, that's a really common, typical one, and it's also such an annoying one because the kitchen is such a visible part of your home. Papers, I think, are the worst. You could probably find a place to keep important mail and not important mail. I really like separating those. And for me, the third one is a half-finished kid art projects. Like those are my top 3, you know what your top 3 are. And then just declare that these surfaces are workspaces and they shouldn't have stuff kept on them. If you can't put your stuff in your cabinets like I did, maybe it's time to purge your cabinets. For example, I actually use my pasta maker multiple times a year, but it still lives down in the basement because I know right where it is. And that little bit of effort it takes to go down and get it is repaid by having all of the stuff that does actually live full-time in the kitchen that much easier to get to. Okay, those are my 6 tips for organizing your home in a way that is default tidy and takes very little effort to maintain at a level that feels good. And you don't end up with piles of things that need to be sorted through. Things flow in and out as they're designed to. The other members of your household are able to maintain their things. And yeah, just by default, the house is tidy. If you like this video, well, please like and subscribe, of course, but you might also like my time management tips video. I will link that for you on the screen and down below in the description. Thank you for watching to the end. Hug, and I will see you over in that other video. Ciao.